Hey everyone, and welcome to the 25th full-length meeting of the Tropical Rum Society. As always, I'm Matt, and today I thought I would celebrate this little milestone with a new Hawaiian shirt. It's not a massive feat to have created 25 videos, but I am pleased that I have, so a little bit of celebration here, but you came here to see the rum, so let's get into that. I'm pretty excited about today's rum because it is a smoked spice rum out of Scotland, and I love smoky flavours, especially smoky scotches. So I'm really hoping that some of that Scottish knowledge and skill and talent at making smoky flavours has transferred its way over into this rum. There's only one way to find out though, so let's jump into this review. Sweet Dram is a distillery over in Edinburgh, Scotland, which was created in 2014 by two friends who actually met doing their masters in distilling and brewing. These two friends decided to start their own distillery, focusing on unique, individual, creative flavors, rather than just doing the traditional thing that everyone else already was. The pair decided to create a distillery of their own, focusing on creating new, unique, individual, creative flavors, rather than sticking to the conventional categories and styles of alcohol. Their range centers around twists on classic alcohols, so rather than a whiskey, they have a whiskey amaro. They have wild absinthe, as well as cask-aged moonshine and escubak. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, I don't know what it is. And of course, they have the smoked spice rum that we are looking at today. So speaking of, let's talk about the rum itself. It's been around since 2016, as Sweet Dram wanted to create something that bucked the trend of sickly sweet rums. It's a 41% ABV concoction that uses a mix of Caribbean rums from Guyana and Barbados. The spice mix is a bunch of things you wouldn't usually expect to see in a rum, including chamomile, lime leaf, fennel, lapsang, and wild smoked figs, which seems like a pretty outlandish one to me, but we'll see what it's like. It also includes something called grains of paradise, which are in the ginger family, which makes them similar to something like cardamom. So I'm keen to see what that tastes like and whether I can actually pick them out. So clearly, Sweet Dram has chosen a very unique flavor profile for this. They have not opted for the standard cinnamon, star anise, citrus, those sorts of aspects, and have gone a completely different path with this one. I'm personally hoping that they've chosen those specific spices to accentuate and work with the smoky aspects of this rum, but we'll find out in a minute. Interestingly, they claim on their website that this is a dry aromatic spirit that sits somewhere between a rum and a Speyside scotch. So let's take a look at the bottle so that we can find out if that's actually the case. The bottle has a very modern look to it, not just in that label design, but in the shape of the bottle itself. The bottle has a tapered design, which is only a minor difference, but it definitely adds to the character and uniqueness of the product, which seems to be kind of the whole vibe of Sweet Dram and the things that they produce. The label is bold and bright, which is a nice contrast to the dark glass, but I'm not entirely sure what the artist was actually trying to capture with their design. For some reason, the first thing that comes to my mind is the giant ball rolling down the temple in the first Indiana Jones, but I don't think that's what this is actually meant to be. If you have any guesses, drop them down in the comments below. I'd like to see what other people think about this one. While you have a think about what it's meant to be, I'll get this one popped open. Ooh, came out quite easily. And we'll throw it in the glass. Now that it's out of the bottle, we can see that it's a deep brownish gold color, which is pretty much what I was expecting from a spiced rum. It's also barely running down the glass at all after a bit of a swirl. There's a couple of legs in there, but it looks like it's going to be a thick one. On the nose, this is definitely hitting the mark on not being sickly sweet. In fact, it's a much deeper, more refined sort of smell. I can also see what they mean about it being a dry aromatic spirit. It's definitely not on the sweet side of things in that scent. I'm getting some sort of peppery note in there, but not like table pepper, more like peppercorns. And there's some cardamom in there as well. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that peppery smell is the grains of paradise that we discussed earlier. Not too sure. There's also a familiar rum scent that's beneath those spices as well, but it's very much not a sweet rum. It's more of a mellow rum scent. Disappointingly, there's actually not too much smoke in the smell here. I was hoping for a little bit more, but maybe it's going to be in the taste. So let's have a sip and see if it comes out a little bit more. All right, there's definitely some more smokiness in that when you actually sip it. And I can see where they would be saying that this is between a rum and a Speyside. It kind of has similar elements to both, which I quite like. It's very nice. The smoke that's in this is not really like a deep, peaty sort of Scotch smoke. It's much more of a light kind of tobacco, or actually maybe more like a barbecue when you've taken everything off the barbecue. That sort of smoke smell. But actually, now that I think about it, it's more like you've been grilling fruit on that barbecue rather than meat, because it doesn't really have a meaty flavor to it. It's nice and light and fruity. It's also very warming and leaves a very familiar, very comfortable sort of feeling. It's kind of like drinking a cup of tea, and it also leaves like a very long, lingering aftertaste, which is really quite pleasant. And I'm very content sipping this rum. And I don't just mean content with the flavor, I mean like content as a person, just like sitting here, living life, very content. So overall, I think this is a really nice rum. I was a little bit worried at first because I didn't really get much smokiness in the smell, so I thought it was going to be a little bit of a letdown. But then we got to the taste. Now don't get me wrong, it definitely has a nice smell. It's a great aroma, but the name is a smoked spiced rum, so it really was kind of lacking in that smokiness in the smell, and I thought that the name would be appropriate. The taste, though, was absolutely delicious, and I feel really soothed and really at ease drinking this rum. I don't know if that's just me and my personal history and everything kind of like combining into one super liquid that just happens to be basically a tranquilizer for me, or if that's going to be the case for multiple people. So if you can, get a bottle, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Need to know if it's just me or if it's something that happens to others as well. I'm pretty sure chamomile tea is meant to be like super calming and soothing, right? And this has got chamomile in it, so maybe it's just something to do with that. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, but this, to me, is the most calming rum that I've ever drank. Makes me feel at home. This is definitely one that I'm going to be putting in an easy to reach spot. I will definitely be having more of this very soon. And speaking of, I'm going to go put this one on the shelf right now, have the rest of this, and I will see you in the next meeting.